All right, welcome to the Any Key Radio Show, the place and platform for indie creatives. I'm your host, Kenny Any Key Moore. So, if you're new to the show and want to know why it's called the Any Key Radio Show, it's because you have to be ready in any key at any time in order to keep up with singers. This is a special Christmas music episode. My guest has a new holiday music single that just came out. But before we start the show, would you do two things for me? First, go like and subscribe to the Minds of Creativity Facebook page and YouTube channel so you can check out the rest of the content and get alerts when new shows are available. Second, connect with me on social media at Coach_ANYKENY on Twitter, TikTok, Clubhouse, and Instagram so you can follow the show and keep up with the rest of the stuff that I'm doing. All right, my guest is ready and I'm ready, so let's start the show. Before my guest comes on to talk about his new single, let's check out some of his music. Here's Jason Hendrickson with Another Chance on Any Key Radio Show.
When I think of your goodness and all you done for me, I gotta give you thanks, 'cause I should have been dead and gone. You've been good, so good. I just wanna give you all the glory. But what I do without your love, where would I be without your grace? I don't know what I would do without you. Oh Lord, thankful for another chance just to praise and honor you, Lord. Another chance just to praise and honor you. Listen, y'all, I'm standing here today, y'all, as a living testimony of His goodness and His grace, y'all. I can call Him whenever I need Him. He's always been right there.
All right, now joining me is Jason Hendrickson, aka Pastor J. He's a singer-songwriter and an entrepreneur that not only does gospel music, but he also has his own clothing line, his own dessert line, and I call him the James Brown of gospel because he's the hard-working man in the kingdom. Jason, welcome to this version of the show. Thanks for being back on. How's everything?
Hey man, I'm so happy to be here with you, brother. How you feeling, man?
I'm doing great, man. Other than this cold, I'm doing great. Hope you're staying cold up there in the north.
Man, listen,
warm.
it's 13 degrees up here right now, brother. So it ain't no staying warm right now, but you know, God is good.
It is, man. I'm in Florida. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's in the 20s here. So
Wait a minute. It's 20 degrees
you
in
heard what I
Florida?
said. Yeah, we don't know what to do with ourselves. And I'm a native New Yorker, so I've been down here for 10 years, though. So I'm not built for the cold no more.
I know y'all are bugging out there. Like,
What? Ain't nobody going outside?
I know that's right. 20 degrees in Florida. Jesus.
Yeah, it's real. So listen, let's get to it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Listen, I always ask people this question because I'm curious of the answer. It's always different for everybody. Tell me your earliest memory or the moment you fell in love with music.
Wow. The earliest memory for me would be probably at my home church at the time, Glorious Church of God in Christ, under the tutelage of Rita Lindsay Smith, who was the minister of music there at the time. And just watching her and my godbrother Tyrone Lewis play together She was on the organ, he was on the drums.
Mm.
And no matter of fact, I'll go back because before Tyrone, it was he's a bishop now. Bishop Gary Bridie was the drummer at the church, and he was like the coolest dude to me. And I would see him play, and I would be like, man, I want to do that. And I remember saying that at 5 years old and going home. And, you know, back in the days, all of our parents had those big wooden spoons and the forks that they used to hang on the wall in the kitchen. So I would get my sister Kim to pass me the fork and the spoon, and I would go under the kitchen sink and get one of my mother's pots and just start banging on them. And
dude,
my
I did
mom
the same
never
thing.
stopped me.
Yeah.
My mom never stopped me. I was making noise back then, but I believe that God allowed my mom to see that this was something that was going to take me further than anybody thought. And from banging on pots, I ended up traveling all over the world because of this gift of music, man. So God is so faithful and so good, man.
Absolutely. Listen, man, it's so funny. I literally did the same thing. I'm a drummer as well.
Wow.
And drummer and play keys. So I tore up my parents' like whole kitchen. Like my mom bought me some drumsticks for Christmas one year. I don't know why she did that, but she played them old gospel records, them old institutional records and Hawkins records, and I was just getting busy.
Yeah, man.
And that's where it started. That's where the love started.
Wow.
So yeah. So now you've had some success recently with your songs hitting the charts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So talk about the importance of radio marketing, and then tell any artists why they should invest in it.
Wow. Number one, you got to have the right promoter. You got to have the right radio promotion team. Big shout out to Dallas Frazier, who is a beast. He's a beast. You got to have that because so many people have great catalog, but nobody knows it.
Right.
And, for me, yes, I tell people all the time, I laugh at people when they say, if I never sell 1 million records, to God be the glory. No, that's not why we do this. We do this to sell 1 million records, but also touch 1 million souls.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So nobody spends money to lose money. And if you're putting out quality music, it costs money. And you're looking for a return. If you're not a smart business person, and you need to get out of this because you're going to go broke doing this.
You're preaching.
You know what I mean? So you got to have the right radio promotion team because you don't just want to have a dope hard drive. There's a lot of artists that can play bangers all day long, but it's nowhere
nobody knows
their
about
hard
it.
drive.
Correct.
Nobody knows it. And then a lot of times, once you pay for radio promotion, you'll start to develop relationships with program directors, even though you're not the promoter, because through Tony, we call him Tony D, but Dallas Frazier, through him promoting my songs, I've developed a lot of relationships with program directors who now hit me up and like, yo, I saw you got a Christmas song. Send it to me for free. I don't got to pay them nothing, and it's just because of the quality of music that we're putting out and the relationships and just being integral about your presentation. So I think that it's a crazy, crazy idea to put out music without having money set aside for radio, because that's what a lot of artists do. They put all their money into post-production, but don't have anything for marketing and advertising. And it's really not that expensive anymore because you really can do it yourself. It's going to take longer if you do it yourself, but you do need to have money set aside for, especially now that they just did this thing and a lot of independent artists don't even know the BDS charts and media base are now one. So, people hitting you with I'm a BDS reporting station. Don't mean that no more. That don't exist. Everything is media based now. But if you don't have a radio promoter in your camp to tell you this stuff, you can get bamboozled and jerked. And you got to have a team that's not intimidated to pour, because of the potential of what you can become. Because you got a lot of cats that got the information, but will
You don't want
withhold
to
it
share
from
it.
you
Yeah, that's
because
right.
they look at the potential of what you're doing, and they know in
Yeah.
their hearts, this guy's going to blow
Intimidated.
past me.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not going to help him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you got to
Yeah.
have the
Those
right
are the
people
guys
around you.
that you call the gatekeepers.
Yeah, and you know what?
Mm.
Gatekeepers in the industry are becoming a dying breed, because gatekeepers in the scriptures are not what gatekeepers are in the music industry. And the
Mhm.
gatekeepers in the music industry have abused their favor. They have
Talking.
abused their position. They have blocked people. They have become selfish, outdated, irrelevant, and they're afraid. But we coming. So it's nothing they could do.
Yeah.
And because when you look at a gatekeeper in the scripture, they were one that sat up high and looked when they saw enemies coming and warned the people in the city
Yes.
behind the walls.
Yes.
They wasn't blocking them from getting hurt or, seeing you on a flyer, calling a promoter to my, yo, I heard you got Jay Hen. Cancel him because I won't do it if he's on the. All that kind of stuff is being killed and done away with. You just got to be consistent and have quality product.
That's it, man. And I think, the biggest thing is that there's a misconception is that the reason why the majors are doing the numbers that they're doing is because they have a machine behind them. Like they have a team behind them that's pushing. They got a radio. These major labels have a department strictly for radio.
Yeah.
Where they hitting all of these programs, these PDs and all of these guys to get their stuff charted. And all of that, results in you getting the revenue and the things back. So I just thought it was really important that, especially as independent artists, man, we always talk about, people don't want to hear my music. People don't listen. No, you gotta put the money behind it and use the resources that are out there. And then you won't be so frustrated.
And the truth is, a lot of program directors, they want to get their hands greased. And, you got to know, it doesn't make sense for you to be a part of the NBA.
It takes money to make money.
Yeah. You can't be a part of the NBA and not know how to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waste of time. So if you're going to be in the music business, you're going to have to understand if there are some program directors that have certain influences that you may have to send. And this is for free independent artists. You may have to find out the address to their station and send them a gift. Send them a little, something. I'm not saying money or whatever, but you got to become creative to make you stand out, because there's only 500 slots on the charts. And there's probably 10,000 artists trying to get on those charts. What makes you different from the others that the radio announcers would be like, okay, why should we play Jason? They know him as a drummer. Why should we play him as an artist?
Yeah, so the question is, as an artist, are you a fan of streaming or prefer some of the smaller sites that pay artists a bigger percentage?
I say do it all, but you got to be strategic. What I do, I use Bandcamp first, because here's another jewel for independent artists. Why is Apple?
They get a bigger cut. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, bro, but who is Apple to tell me that my song is only worth $1.29?
Right. You can set your own, right.
I can set my own price at Bandcamp.
That's right.
And what ends up happening, and this is why as an artist, you got to be nice to people. Don't be like these other crazy gospel artists that walk around shading people, not speaking to people, then expecting people to buy your product.
It comes back. It's a seed.
It's a seed. Back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so what I did, I'll tell you an example for my song, My Longing, that hit #1 on the charts. What I did was I put it on Bandcamp exclusive for only 3 months. You couldn't get it nowhere else.
Okay.
And what I did was I went through every contact in my phone and I copy and paste it. It takes a couple of days to do it. Like Monday, I did all the A's in my phone. Tuesday, I did all the B's, because you got to put in the work. And what I told people, I said, listen, this is a seed song. I want you to, if you love what I do, I appreciate your support. Can you help me out? And I sold that song for $5. People were paying $100 for that song, bro.
Wow.
100, and I couldn't believe it. I was calling like, yo, you just sent me $100.
Sure?
It was like, yeah, you said it's a seed.
Wow.
So you know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah,
ways for you to get to the money, and
definitely.
because you don't see the receipts, don't mean I don't got them.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great, man. I actually do the same thing. Like, I got a book out. Me and my first wife wrote together, The Struggle to Get to Destiny.
Mhm.
And I've been promoting it just like that on Facebook. Shout out to Patricia Johnson, who does social media for me. I
Mhm.
just give her the post and say, just tag all my friends with the letter B, all my friends with the letter C, all my friends with the
Mhm.
letter D. And that's a hack to the algorithm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's, to your point, that you have to, as an independent artist, you got to think outside the box, because you don't have that budget that the major artists have. So you got to find
Right.
different ways to reach people.
That's
So I
right.
think that's just a great point. So listen, man, let's move into your catalog. You talked about My Longing. I want to talk
Mhm.
about another song of yours that's really my favorite. My favorite right now is shoot. Hold on. That's it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Listen, man, that's my joint right there. When I'm doing my walk, that joint get me moving.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
man, talk about how you were able to reunite with Monique Walker, and how that song came together, because I think it's a hit.
Man, listen, me and Monique, Pastor Monique, have been family since I started playing for the Crusade Choir
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah.
And I actually wrote that song 17 years ago, bro, and never did nothing
Great
with it.
songs don't have no timestamp
No,
on them.
it doesn't. I wrote that song 17 years ago, and it was just sitting in my hard drive. And while we were in the pandemic, I was like, man, let me start going through my hard drive to see what songs I can kind of reproduce and do again. And I had a young lady by the name of Sharetta Griffin on the song, who is a phenomenal singer, and
Yeah,
a
shoes.
rapper by the name of Q the Prophet,
Okay.
who was really huge back in the day. He was the first gospel rapper to be on a K Slay mixtape,
Oh, wow.
was
That's
which
big
was
time.
yeah,
Yeah, he was
huge.
killing the game. Yeah,
Yeah. And so, rest in peace to K Slay.
sure.
But I just wanted to go a different route because my niece is Brooklyn, the girl that's rapping on the record.
Okay.
That's my sister Kim's niece. That's my blood niece. And
Gotcha.
she's one of the hottest MCs right now. She's on Hot 97. She's all over the place.
Okay.
DJ Enough pushes her like never before. And I just was like, man, I want to do a record with Pastor Monique. And everybody knows her for ballads.
Yes.
She's a power
Yes.
singer.
Yes.
She does, these
Yes.
ballads. But I
Yeah,
said,
she's
I want to
behind a
take
lot of
her,
those ballad hits for Love
with Love
Fellowship. Yeah,
Fellowship.
for
Yeah.
sure.
And I said, I want to take her out of that and present her in a different light. So when I called her, she actually had the flu when we recorded it.
No way.
Yeah. And she was like, Pastor, I got to go back and do my vocals. I said, nah, I'm a real producer. Let me do what I do. I'm telling you,
Talk that talk.
the cadence that you delivered that with, the passion, it was there. And I was like, if we go back, we're not going to capture that again. And she had faith in me, and we got a classic record on our hands, man.
Good, man. So the question was from the audience is, there it is. In your experience, is the gospel scene more cohesive or just as cutthroat as the secular side?
Man, y'all need to know there's no such thing as, it's just the industry now.
That's it.
Yeah, it's all the same, man. And you would think that being on the gospel side, things will be a little bit nicer. It's not.
Because you don't see what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes, it's a cutthroat world. And the thing is, you as an independent artist have to know you can be an artist without a record label, but a record label can't be a record label without an artist.
That's the jewel.
So you got to pick and choose what you want, because at this point, for me, if I was to get signed to a major label, I don't know how that world works, because I've been doing indie since 2004. So there's a lot of nuances that I don't know anything about being signed. And to tell you the truth, most of my friends that are signed to major labels, they're not happy.
Yeah, I can see
They're
that.
not happy because the numbers are going down. Most of them are in 360 deals.
Oh.
and never had sunset clauses in their contract, and that's a whole nother live that we could talk about.
Right.
But the record label has all these outs if you breach as an artist. But what happens if the record label breaches? How do you get out? You want to do a clothing line, and these people ain't putting no money in, but because you signed to them, they eat off of everything you do. And if you don't stay on the road, a lot of my friends that are signed to major deals, if they don't stay on the road, they're going to starve.
Yeah, because the label is recouping so much.
Yes.
That they're not, unless they're on the road, or unless they wrote their songs and got their publishing, then it's going to be a hard road.
And a lot of people give up publishing, man. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do as a new writer. But thank God I'm at that space, man, where I made it through that season where people were just taking. I mean, I won't call the name out, but I had one situation where Cat was like, "Yo, I need 75%." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Bro, you're not Michael Jackson. Like, are you crazy?" Like, nah, B. Like, nah. And you can't be afraid, and you can't be starstruck when you do business.
That's right.
Like, at the end of the day,
Gotta be fair.
Ask me for publishing, I'm going to research your sales history. And if you only selling, especially now, ain't nobody getting my publishing now because ain't nobody selling like that. Right. Only way I would advise you to give up publishing is if, say, for instance, if I got on a Bishop Hez or
a major record
project,
yeah,
I would gladly give up publishing
because it's gonna open doors to other things.
Right, but not only that, I would gladly give up publishing if I'm guaranteed the radio single, because that's where the money is now.
Yeah,
the money ain't in the sales; it's in the streams.
That's a great point.
And the airplay. So
that's
if are you going to give me? Are you going to use my song as the radio single? Then we can talk. But if I'm just going on an album as an album filler, I need 100% of my publishing.
I heard that.
It's non-negotiable.
I heard that. That's important, man. So listen, you rocking the gear. So we got to talk about it. All things apparel, all things banana pudding, man. You moving and shaking.
Yes,
man,
sir.
Tell me about. I saw that recently that you got a situation where your line is in stores now. So tell me how that came about and where the line is now able to be purchased.
Man, it's so crazy. At the beginning of the year, I was in prayer, and God said to me, "I don't just want you to see opportunities, I want you to hear it." And so I was like, okay, I didn't think nothing of it. And so, again, having the right radio promoter, because your radio promotion team doesn't just set up you to get airplay, they also set up interviews. They get you interviews like this and on different stations. So Tony D had me on his station. I believe it was the station in North Augusta. And we were talking, he was doing an interview, and he said, "We're going to commercial break." And this lady comes on for this commercial talking about her boutique. And I'm listening, but I'm also on texting on the phone, and something said opportunity.
Yeah.
I heard it loud. I was like, what? So I started listening to the commercial. And when we got back from commercial break, I said to Dallas, I said, "Yo, why isn't my clothing line in her boutique?" And he bust out laughing. He's like, "Yo, Pastor, what are you talking about?" I was like, "I don't know who that is, but whoever D's boutique is, all things need to be in your store." He's like, "Yo, you serious?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, we'll get up there. We'll connect." And long story short, we connected. I sent her my Instagram. She saw the gear. She was like, "All right, cool." We sent out the contract. We signed. We went into partnership, and we opened up Thanksgiving weekend of this year. Black Friday was our actual first day of business in North Augusta, South Carolina. And it was only because I heard the opportunity, because I'm on radio. I couldn't see it, but I heard it. You know what I mean? And you can't be afraid to leap when you hear stuff. You know what I mean? So you gotta be able to not just see it, but hear it.
So, question from the audience: what is your song creation process? Do you get into the presence and then write, or just walking down the street can spark a song? I'll say both, but I'll let you go ahead.
Neither for me.
Oh, really?
I write all my songs in my sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, every song that I've written has come to me in a dream.
You're the second person I took. Shout out to Arthur Clayton the fourth.
Yeah.
He said his whole EP came to him in a dream.
Yeah. And that's why I keep my phone by my bedside, because I'm dreaming. And my wife tells me all the time, she's like, yo, you were singing in your sleep again. I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
I told her one time, you should record me so I can hear what I'm doing. And it's crazy because I knew I was doing it last night, because I wrote another song last night, and I was in the dream, but I was also in my room conscious of what was happening. So it's like a really strange experience. But I believe that as songwriters, God allows for me, he gives me access to what's being sung in heaven, and then charges me with the responsibility to translate it here on earth. That's my process as a songwriter, and you just keep your voice notes near you. And that's what happened. My longing, that was years ago. I wrote my longing 7 years ago. And when we were finishing up the album, I was like, man, there's something missing. And I just started going through my voice notes. And I heard, only you can satisfy my longing. And that's all I had, that one line. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I started writing the rest of the song. And, the rest is history. And we hit number one with a song that was written in my sleep 7 years ago.
And so I'll say, well, two things. One, in terms of, I'm a songwriter as well. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's all of the, like, it could be in church. So shout out to my church, St. Paul Church of Jacksonville, Bishop Johnny Guns. Sometimes he could be preaching and I'll get something.
Yes.
Then. Or, man, I could be driving in a car, like with you with your phone. Mm-hmm. I'll be recording it into my voice notes because I just got the lyrics to a song, because, inspiration can come to you at any time. So you just got to be open. I think that's really the biggest thing, is you just got to be open to it. Absolutely. Because you just don't know when it's going to come. And then when it comes, write it down, because you will forget it. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna lose it. So listen, before we ask this next question, let's take this short break and we'll be right back.
Fight for help. I'm all by myself, battling alone. All of my inner groans, depression floods my mind. Lord, I need a sign, reaching out to you. Need a break.
Keeping Alive LLC is a team of writers, authors, producers, and content creators. Led by myself and Tobias Tanker Jr., we bring you the best the industry has to offer in those categories. Go to kanmcollective.com and let us bring your creative ideas to life. Keeping Alive in Music Collective is for the people, for the culture, and for the music. All right, we're back. So actually that song that played in the background of the ad, that was one of those situations where I coach basketball, Pastor, and I used to, man. I come from a basketball family. Rod Strick was my uncle.
You think you can take me?
Easy. What are you, like 5'7"?
No, I'm 5'9". No, actually, I'm 5'11". Actually.
Okay, yeah, you might have a chance. I'm 6'2", so I'll just take you in the post, and But nah, those days is over with. I talk with the kids. So, I coach. Shout out to St. Joseph Academy. I'm an assistant coach there for the boys varsity team. And I tried to play one of the kids one day, man. And we were supposed to play the 5. We're supposed to play the 5, keyword. Man, I got to, it was 3-2. Man, my lungs was burning. It was over. Because I'll be 50 next year, man. Their play days is over.
Yeah.
Play days is over. But anyway, let's get back to, man, let's talk about the new single, man. The Greatest Gift.
Yeah, so, man.
How did how did that come about? It seemed like it came together quick.
Yeah, I wanted to challenge myself and the team to see could we get a song done in 3 days.
Wow.
And so again, being an artist, you have to have a great team around you because nobody can do it by themselves. So big shout out to my management company, Arms Entertainment, Crystal Spearman, who is the boss lady. That's what we call her, the boss lady. But she came up, she's like, yo, I want y'all to do a Christmas song. And she came to us like, 2 weeks ago. And I was like, what? It's like, when you put out Christmas music, you're supposed to have it out like in November, right after Thanksgiving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she's like, nah, I want something from y'all, and I want it this year. I was like, all right, cool. So, I have an amazing producer by the name of Sean Corbett, who is just phenomenal. I have a writer that's on our squad, Ali Sales, who does a lot of my vocal arrangements. Her pen game is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got this new young lady that's on the scene, Destiny Christine. She is from Florida, actually.
Okay.
And she is a dope musician, dope songwriter. And she got on board and we just got together. And you got to have a great mix engineer that's quick.
That's huge.
Jason Brown from Atlanta. He is the musical director for Greenleaf, the television show.
Okay.
Yeah, he does so many major things. Donald Lawrence, Donnie McKirkland, everybody. So I called Jay. I was like, yo, we doing this song. We're going to have it to you. Jay had it to me. I got it to him Monday. He had it ready because, you got to go back and forth with the mixes.
Mm-hmm.
We were ready to go by Wednesday. Song was out Thursday.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But listen, man, when you got the right team, you got the right chemistry.
Yeah, great things are possible.
Absolutely. And it's kind of, it has that blues and soul vibe. So
yeah,
I'm feeling it. So you said that now talk about this. Talk about the game changer in terms, how, back, we're all, 90s guys. So, you had to be in the studio and everybody had to talk about the difference of recording nowadays where, most of it is done remote.
Yeah, I love it. Like I'm here in New York. Destiny is in Jersey. Jay is in Atlanta, and Jay mixed probably 90% of my new album and haven't seen Jay in person in years. We talk on the phone. So I think it's great. But again, it comes from you investing in yourself because you can't be an artist and not have a studio at this point because most of the big studio houses are closed down. Everybody's working out the crib or, in
Mm-hmm.
the office space. Like right now, I'm looking at my studio right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So anybody wants
Mm-hmm.
vocals, just send me the session. You know what I'm saying? And I'll send it right back to you. That's the way the world works now. So I think it's very important for us to know that things change. But I actually like producing and recording with everybody in the studio, because in order for me to send you vocals and tell you, I got to really trust you, production wise and your placement and knowing that you know how to, really produce your vocals. And everybody don't know how to do that. So for me, I like being there, but Destiny she just happens to be a producer and she's a keyboardist. She's not the average artist. So she's a songwriter, producer, and musician. So for her, I really didn't have to be there with her. We just sent her the track and she killed it, sent it back. I think I had to tell her or ask her to do like 2 things just for my ears. But other than that, her vocal placement, the way she recorded her vocals, the preamps that she used, everything was there. I didn't have to tell her anything, man.
Okay.
So big shout out to Destiny. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, you guys get on my nerves, man. You singing musicians get on my nerves because I can just play and you guys could just, I got to get people to record my stuff for me.
Yeah.
But you guys could just go in there and knock it out. So I'm hating a little bit. But anyway. So there's a question on it. A question came up. Is Kirk Franklin the greatest gospel artist of this generation?
Hands down, yes. Absolutely.
I'm a Fred Hammond guy, so I don't know.
when you say greatest, you got to talk about the reach.
The fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
There's no one.
That's fair.
There's no one that has
That's fair.
the reach of
Yes,
Kirk Franklin
I agree with you there.
in gospel. No one.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. That's fair.
Now, when it comes to vocals, of course, Kirk ain't no singer. But
See, this guy, man.
Kirk cooked Fred. Yeah, man.
He didn't cook him. It was not. It was close.
I wouldn't say that. Because see, Kirk. Let me tell you something. We've been on tour with Kirk Franklin.
I remember.
Kirk,
you told me about it.
He is sneaky, man. Sneaky. Like his mind is so dope. Like we were doing the Six Flags tour. So every Six Flags.
So everybody shout out, listen, check out the New York Sound episode on the audio version of the Any Key Radio Show. He tells some other stories, a funny story about him singing in F sharp. So you gotta check it out.
Yeah. So we doing the Six Flags tour, and it's Love Fellowship and Kirk Franklin and the family at the time. And one of the craziest things was we were flying from city to city, and a couple of times we had to get on those propeller jets.
Oh.
So it's me, Bobby Sparks, David Mann. I mean, we scared it's only eight passenger plane.
Mm-mm.
Kirk, a different one, and we on there like, oh my God. And the turbulence was crazy. So Kirk would do stuff like this. We got to, I think it was St. Louis, and Kirk refused to close the show. He was like, yo, I'm not going on after him. He's like, I'm not going on after Hezekiah because he's going to start all that preaching and shouting. Anybody. So that was the case.
Hey, y'all did shut it down.
Yeah, man.
A praise break is going to happen at some point.
Yeah. And I mean, that was the point. Most major artists that was on a show with us, they would tell the promoter, we're not going on after Love Fellowship. We're not doing it. So what Kirk did one time, he was on stage, he was doing his joints, and he said, I want all the ladies to leave the stage. So we looking at him like, what's happening right now? He says, I got my brother Marvin Sapp here.
Oh.
So he did like an impromptu commission type thing. And what he did was, and this was when Live in Toronto had just came out.
Okay.
So Clean Inside was like one of the biggest hits on that joint.
Wow. Yeah.
Kirk goes on stage with Marvin Sapp and says, yo, put me in A flat. Won't he make you clean? And you got Isaac Caree. All these
just
guys
Mike Towson.
killing David Mann and all of them singing Clean Inside with Marvin Sapp on the lead.
Yeah.
And so we did the next city, we did the same thing.
Okay.
We brought Marvin Sapp back out.
That's fine.
And we started doing one of Kirk's songs. So it was stuff like that, man. That was just an amazing time. But Kirk been a creative genius for years, and now he's doing movies and scores.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on another level, producing television shows. So hands down, Kirk is the GOAT. Definitely.
That's fair. So now, now that we kind of touched on that Love Fellowship, they lead me to another question. So we got, our mutual friend, our guy, Reggie Parker, one of the funniest guys. One of the funniest guys.
Reggie is crazy, man.
Hey, listen, I told him his new name is Reggie Brady because he had the shortest retirement in the history of music.
Yeah. I told him, he talked about he was retiring. I was like, never gonna happen. You got too much music in you, bro.
Yeah. Then he comes out with these 15 double CD projects.
Yeah.
But listen, I know you got to have one funny story from your time at Love Fellowship that you could tell the audience.
Oh man, so many, man. Jesus. I talked about the time I got fired already on your show, I think.
No, you didn't tell that one. No, you gotta tell that one.
Oh man. So, I'm a young guy. I'm 15, 16 years old, just started playing for Love Fellowship. So I did about 10-year bid with them, right? And so as I started getting older, I started getting more popular with the sisterhood in the body of Christ.
My Lord.
All over the country, you know what I mean? I had friends everywhere. You know, Houdini, friends, how many of us have them? That song was about me, praise him. And so, you know, I met this young lady. I never forget it. We were in Florida, and she was coming out the convention center. I was already on the bus, and she walked out the convention center, and I said, "Oh my God!"
Hey, listen, man.
I ran off the bus.
Know.
I was like,
all the women are blessed. We'll just leave it at that.
I said, "Hold on, woman of God." Who are you? And long story short, you know, me and the young lady started, you know, hanging out or whatever. And Bishop, he wasn't Bishop at the time, he was Pastor Walker at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know, playing for Bishop Walker, he's very strict, man. Very
apostolic.
strict. Yeah, that apostolic side of him.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I had the young lady up here. We were hanging out in New York and stuff like that. And he says to me, he says, "You know, we going down to Florida, right?" And I said, "Yeah." Same tour, the Six Flags, the Kirk Franklin tour. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you know, you're not going to see that young lady on my money.
Oh,
I'm paying you to go down there to do ministry and come back home." He said, "If I find out that you and that young lady connected, I'm gonna fire you."
Oh, so he told you ahead of time.
Yeah, but me and Bishop are like this. He's like my dad. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whatever, Pastor. Like, you ain't, this is me. Like, you ain't going.
Yeah, you ain't going to do that.
So we get down to Florida. Now the girl drove from Pensacola to Orlando. She drove.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
That's a long drive. Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not going to let her come all that way and then tell her, "Pastor said I can't hang out with you."
Yeah.
I'm like, what? But I didn't know he told everybody in the choir.
Yeah, spies.
He's like, yo, if y'all see Jason with that girl, y'all better tell me. So she drives up, and me and my boy Jules Bartholomew, because she had a friend with her. So I'm like, yo, Jules, I got these girls coming to see you. Yeah. So they pull up to the hotel. We jump in the car. I'm in the front. Jules is in the back. And as soon as we pull out the parking lot, Monique Walker walks out the hotel walks right in front of the car and looks and says, "Oh yeah."
So wait, but he didn't say that Jules didn't get fired though, right?
No, Jules didn't get fired because Jules was just assassinated by association.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
But Bishop put the word out on me. There was a whole lot of different dynamics to that story I can't get into right now.
I understand.
He was like, "Yo, I'm not playing with you, Jason. Yo, you're not going down there to get no on my money." Like,
I heard that.
Like, you're not doing that. He said, "You want to go down there and be screwing and all that stuff, you go do it with your money. But my money, we gonna do ministry." So I took it as a joke, and I was like, "Man, whatever." Monique comes outside, sees me and Jules in the car with the girls, and at this time, Bishop wasn't traveling with the choir. We were like still on tour buses, and he was flying because he was different places. So he wasn't there.
He would meet y'all at the cities.
Yeah, he got to Orlando the next morning and called my room. I was like, "Yo, what you doing?" I was like, "Man, I'm just chilling." He's like, "Yo, get your stuff and come to my room." I was like, "Oh, he can get me a bigger room or whatever." You know, I'm hyped now. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting my own room." Like, I've been promoted. I get to his room. He said, "Didn't I tell you that if I found out that you was with that girl, that I was gonna fire you?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "But you really gonna do that?" He got on the phone and called Regina and said, "Regina, do me a favor, book Jason a flight home and book Jeff Les a flight here."
Wow.
And that next day, I was on my way back to New York.
On your way home.
Jeff Les was on his way down, and Jeff Les been playing for the choir ever since. So in essence, Jeff Les owes me some money because he would not be playing and have all these endorsements. Jeff Les, I should be getting free sticks from you. Everything you got.
So a seed, Doc.
It's because of me.
Doc.
Sow a seed, Reverend. I need some drumsticks. I don't play no more, but I still want
Yeah,
some
I
drumsticks.
know. You can pass them along.
Come on.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, man.
Great. So, but here's the other thing, though. If that didn't happen, we might not have what we have today.
It's no doubt. I'm telling you, if it didn't happen, I would still be playing for the Crusade Choir.
Mhm.
Because Love Fellowship, once you're in, you never want to leave.
Yeah.
Because I'm a kid from the projects, man.
Mhm.
And 1 minute I'm in the projects, next thing you know, I'm on Rodeo Drive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who did that happen to? You know what I mean? And so Bishop Walker actually changed my life, man. God used him.
You and a lot of people.
Yeah. You know, he introduced me to the world. I'm known all over the world, musician-wise.
For sure.
And he didn't have to do that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's something that I'm grateful for. And if he didn't fire me, I would have never moved to Europe. That's where I got the call to become a preacher. That's
Mhm.
where I got the call to become an independent artist, because I had to go, I had to find something to do because I was embarrassed, man. I had the biggest gig in New York and
Mhm.
everybody knew I got fired. I was like, yo, I can't go play for no other choir now. That's stepping backwards.
Mhm.
So I went and auditioned for this tour that was going to Europe, and I got it. And I went there as a singer. I never sung in front of nobody.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's
I
the
told you
that's
the
the F
story
stop
before.
story, guys.
Yeah. And I ended up getting a call from the Lord that, yo, you're going to be a recording artist. And I was like, what? And I came back home and locked in with my man Big House, and he taught me how to use a program called Reasons and Cubit.
Yes, that's still being used.
Yeah. And he actually taught me how to produce. My brother Big House and him and his wife Erica, they gave me the keys. Well, I don't think Erica gave me the keys. House probably gonna get in trouble for this, but it's almost 15 years
Statute
later.
of limitations is up.
Yeah, Erica, you can't get them. But House gave me keys to their house, and Erica, she worked for the city, and House got his own bus company. So when they would leave and go to work, I would go to the house and be in there all day long, making music,
Just working.
learning,
Yeah.
tracking, and recording my own vocals.
Mhm.
And that's how we got started, man.
Yeah. So as we get ready to wrap up, I want to, this is the end of the year now, and it's the holidays, and now we're getting ready to go into 2023, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But give some encouraging words, give something to independent artists who maybe, this year wasn't what they expected it to be, and they might be, feeling the type of way. Give them some encouraging words to go into 2024. I mean, 2023.
I got 2 words for y'all.
Oh, that's great. I need that. Yeah, I need
Dream
that.
big.
Yeah, I need that.
This is my motto, and this is my new line that's dropping January 1st.
Okay.
Dream big. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. Don't let anybody tell you it's too late, you're too old, you're too inexperienced. There's some things, guys, that you will never know you can do until you have to do it.
That's so
I remember
true.
when I started writing songs, they were laughing at me because all of my songs rhymed, because I was a hip hop head. So,
Mhm.
I was like, Lord, you're so dope. You help me to cope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stupid stuff like that. My first song was just horrible.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But again, you got to
It's a
check your
process,
growth environment,
Mhm.
and thank God I had guys like David Caton, who is a musical mentor of mine.
Doing
Big
big
House,
things.
Kenny Black, Stanley Brown,
Oh, yeah.
different guys
Legend.
that I could go to and be like, yo, put your ears on this. And they'd be like, that's pretty cool, Jay, but maybe you should change this, say
Mhm.
this, do that. Because again, your growth environment has to have a couple of things. And this is for all creatives. You have to have people in your growth environment that you look up to. Not that you want
Mentors.
to
Yes,
be
sir.
them,
Yes, sir.
but you see something in them that inspires you.
For sure.
It helps you to create a why factor. You have to have people in your growth environment that constantly make you feel uncomfortable. And
That's
by
great.
that, I mean, you got to have people in your growth environment that tell you, yo, there's more. You did that, great, but we're not going to get stuck on yesterday's victories because today got some victories.
Yes, sir.
So let's get to pushing. Let's put that up on the shelf. We did it. What's next? What's good? What's happening? You got to have people that constantly keep you motivated, but then you also got to have people in your camp that let you know when it's time to rest.
Need balance.
That's so important because, you know, especially for us creatives, because there's always something happening up here. You know, after I did this, I already got my next book. I'm always like, yo, I got it. And I need people to tell me, all right, calm down. Let's let this marinate. Then we can start this. But that comes from you being humble enough to know that you need an accountability team. And that's the biggest thing for me in this year. My message to all creators is to dream big. You know, don't be afraid, and don't just look for opportunity, but hear it. You know, hear it. And when you hear it, jump at it. What's the worst that can happen? Somebody tells you no.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And dream big, I mean stuff like connect with, you know, the Breakfast Club. Stop just shopping your
Anything
music.
is possible. That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? You never know.
That's right.
Charlamagne could be going through something.
That's right.
And can hear another chance and be like, oh my God. We don't know. Because I told people, Kenny, I was like, yo, I'm gonna get on Hot 97. Because I do hip-hop music too. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna record a single and I'm gonna get this single on Hot 97. And all of my homies that's in gospel hip-hop that do real, you know, that other hip-hop, because it's all real hip-hop. I don't want to say that. But they all laughed. They was like, yo, you ain't got no bars. I was like, I'm not a rapper, but I am a lyricist.
Okay.
I am a lyricist. And I'm telling y'all, I'm going to do it. And it's been guys that's been doing holy hip-hop, gospel hip-hop, inspirational hip-hop for 20 years and never got played on Hot 97. I did one single, and in a week, asked me what radio station I was on.
Hot 97.
You know what I'm saying? So they played me one time and took me off.
That's all that matters.
But that was the whole deal, because I always want my life to be an example to people of what can happen if you just start speaking different. Because you live, your world is shaped by the words you speak, man.
That's
What
right.
are you saying about yourself? What are you saying to yourself? And I'm telling myself every day, 2 words, bro.
Dream big. Yes,
That's
sir.
it. That's the message. And if y'all don't get nothing else, this is it. And it's not about y'all buying a hoodie. Trust me when I tell you this. But this hoodie, this one saying will open up doors for you, because every time I've worn this, I've had about 65 conversations with people just walking through the street. What does that mean? Who did that? And next thing you know, oh, you create that? How much is it? You got to become your own marketing genius.
That's it. Yeah, you got to, you know, shout out to my wife, Janelle. I tell her, you got to be a walking billboard. Like, you got to represent your brand, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will.
Absolutely. And if you don't spend money on yourself, nobody else will.
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? You got to put that money in. And please, King, let me give a shout out to my church. I see some of my church coming in. My sister Jamie, who is probably one of the biggest inspirations in my life. My sister Jamie got more degrees than a thermometer. And it's because she was the first person in my family to go to college out of our siblings. And because of her, I am in the process of now getting my master's degree in theology. So big shout out to my sister Jamie and my entire church Restoration. I love y'all. I honor y'all. And I'm honored to serve as your pastor.
For sure, man. So while you're doing that, shout out your social media information, shout out the church information when people want to visit, all of that good stuff, how to connect.
Oh, let me shout out my girls too, my kids, Akira, Brittany, and Courtney, my grandkids, Asan, Cassidy, and Dylan, Brianna and Kylie, the twins. I love y'all. To my church, Restoration Tabernacle. We are located at 1338 Broadway between Gates and Quincy in Brooklyn, New York, right in Bed-Stuy. You can find me on social media. Everything is at Jason Hendrickson. And that's another thing, guys. Another free tip to y'all. All your social media, everything should be the same.
Makes you easier to find.
It makes you easier to find, easier for people to connect. I had all these crazy names at J-Hen and all that, but I was watching a training the other day, and this guy is a mogul. He said all his social media handles, everything is the same. So I instantly, while I heard it, that's another thing. When you hear wisdom, apply it. While he was talking, I was changing all my social. Everything is Jason Hendrickson now. Everything is Jason Hendrickson. So all you gotta do is put in my name, and I pop up everywhere. And I would love to connect with you, great people, as soon as possible. And y'all need to get some of this banana pudding. Get some of this work.
Hey, listen. So, you know, he's a cooking culinary specialist, I believe. That's
Come on, come. Flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you, man of God. You are a true prophet.
No, I watched the show. Matter of fact, Shasha, you got a YouTube show out as well. Tell people.
We have a podcast called Kingdom Conversations. We're in season 2. We took a break, but we are coming back starting next month. We got some more amazing guests, and big shout out to my pastor, my bishop, Darryl Hill, who is my #1 nemesis in the kitchen.
Because see, you can't cook like that, man. If you can only make one dish, you can't really. You ain't got it. You just gotta. You're a specialist.
Yeah.
You gotta stay in your lane though, but you gotta know your strengths and your weaknesses.
You gotta know your strengths and your weaknesses. And my pastor think he calls himself the guru of grub.
I like it.
I don't.
I like it.
I hate it.
Listen, I got some ribs. I
heard you talk about your ribs, bro.
Listen, man.
You could cut with a butter knife. That's what you said.
A fork.
A fork. Oh, you really talking?
These I'm gonna be able to cut with a fork because I smoke them. Listen, so I'm gonna give y'all some free game. Y'all grill people. Let me just give you some free game. So if you're gonna smoke your ribs, 250 between 225 and 250. You wrap them for 2 hours. I'm sorry, you cook them open for 2 hours, then you wrap them for 2 hours. That's where the tenderization comes in. I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it up.
You wrap them in what though?
Aluminum foil, or you can use the parchment paper, either or. Okay. Whichever one you prefer. When you bring them out of there, you open them up, they start falling apart before you even start slicing them.
Wow. So you cook them in the oven?
Yeah, I have a smoker. So it's like, I have a smoker. Yeah, I smoke them.
So you cook your ribs for 4 hours.
4 hours at 225, 250.
That's dedication, man of God.
It's easy because I prefer doing that than grilling, because with grilling, you got to watch it. You know, you got to keep turning it over. With the smoke, all you got to do is close the door. It's like cooking in the oven.
Oh, wow. Now, question, can you cook ribs like that in the oven? You can.
It's just use water. Just put them in water, season them and put them in water. See, I'm a cook. So you're a specialist. I'm a cook. So, I do Italian, chicken parm, seafood, lobster. I've grilled lobster.
See, let me correct you, man of God. I'm not a specialist. I'm a culinary specialist.
Oh, excuse me. I forgot the culinary.
Yes, get it right, man of God. Get it right.
Now, listen, all this talking that I'm doing, I cannot touch my wife. Shout out to Janelle Moore, Nellie's Joyful Treats. Listen, check her out on Instagram at Nellie's Joyful Treats. She is the pound cake queen.
Really?
Yes. Have you ever had a sweet potato pound cake?
No, that sounds interesting.
It'll bless your whole life, Doc.
But that's like my mom. She makes a squash cake that is retarded.
Really?
And everybody does the same thing. Because when my mom told me.
Weird. That don't sound right.
I have never in my life had. It's crazy. It's crazy. When she told me, she said, Pastor, I made you a cake. I said, what kind of cake is it? She said, a squash cake. I said, I don't eat that. Don't bring that to me. My brother, when she brought that cake to the church, I almost ate the whole cake on site. I could not believe what she does to this squash. It's very similar to carrot cake.
Okay.
But
she just made a carrot. Yeah, she just made a carrot cake for an order and put pineapples in it. And I've never had that.
Carrot cake with pineapple. Wow.
Yeah. So
you're making me hungry, Kay.
Hey man, look. Okay, anytime you're in Jacksonville, come by the house.
Hey, you know what? I gotta call you because I got a friend of mine. Well, one of my members. She brought a young lady with her to church Sunday, and she lives in Jacksonville.
Okay.
You can't find a good church, man. So I would love if
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I got the church for St. Paul Church of Jacksonville. Bishop
Yeah.
Johnny Guns. Yes,
And
sir.
I don't know if you know my brother. I got a brother down there that's pastoring. He pastors something called the Dream Center. Pastor Cedric Lochner.
I've heard that name before, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the name of the church.
Yeah, he's been down. He's been down there for about 3 or 4 years now.
Okay.
He got
I came down here in 2012 because I was born and raised in the Bronx, like you were from the projects.
From the where?
I'm from the Bronx.
Oh, you know we don't go up there.
See, well, I'm not gonna do that with you.
You from Baghdad? That's what.
Says the guy from Brooklyn.
I'm from Brooklyn. We don't go to the Bronx.
You got some nerve.
No,
you got some nerve.
When I go to the Bronx, I pull up. I look again, and look again.
Really?
Grab my bag, and I run into the place. Oh, do you see what's going on up there now, Kenny?
Bulletproof vest, Brooklyn? Are you kidding me?
No, let me tell you something. Brooklyn don't got nothing on the Bronx. Hear me when I tell you.
I'm gonna let you have it because I moved in 2012.
You got out just in time because it's like Afghanistan. I promise you. I'm dead serious. I had to do a TV show up there, and big shout out to Next Sound Studios because these guys, I never seen nothing like this. They're like in a project building, but it's not quite the projects. It's like a co-op building, but these guys turned an apartment into a live studio stage.
Oh, that's dope.
And if you see like my videos that I post, HD Party, I just posted that the other day.
Yeah, that's another dope one.
I'm singing in the living room.
Okay.
And you look at that joint, you like, yo, you had a real, no, I'm in a living room in an apartment. That's what I'm saying. We have so much creativity out here. It's crazy.
No excuse. Get it done.
Yeah, when I pulled up, I looked at my sister and I said, where you got me? I had on my watch, my jewelry. I took everything off. I was like, I said, wait a minute. And I saw some dudes standing in front of the building. I said, nah, man, what's happening? And I got in there. And
God is not giving you the spirit of fear, Doc.
No, it ain't fear, it's wisdom. Because the weapons of my warfare are carnal. And I didn't have nothing on me that day. Nothing but my word. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. But we made it out. Hallelujah. Glory to God.
Praise God. I need to stop.
Big shout out to everybody in the Bronx. I love you.
For sure. The best borough in the world. And my shout out to my home church, Pure Gospel Miracle Revival Center. My parents are the pastors there. I'm planning to see you guys real soon. Yes. We'll be in town real soon. I ain't gonna put it out there on publicly, but I'm be in the area. I'll text you and let you know.
Yeah, let's link up when you get here, man.
For sure. For sure. But listen, man, thank you so much for being on. All the best. I'm gonna hit you to get one of those hoodies because I gotta have one of those because that mantra that's my slogan for 2023.
Yes, sir. Dream big.
Yes, sir. Thanks for being on the Key Radio Show.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. Likewise. All right, that was Jason Hendrickson. We really appreciate him. And that's going to be it for this episode of the Key Radio Show. If you have any questions, comments, or like your brands and services to be advertised or promoted on the show, or if you want your music to be featured on the show, send an email to kanmusicpub@gmail.com. Again, that's kanmusicpub@gmail.com. Subscribe to the Minds of Creativity YouTube channel, which is a part of the All Sports, All Plays network. So you can check out the rest of the content and certainly get the alert when new episodes are available. You can become a patron on my Patreon page. Just go to patreon.com/ANYKENY to get exclusive access to ad-free audio, behind-the-scenes video, and free show merchandise. Or you can order your merchandise at the online store, ANYKENYRadioshow.threadless.com. Again, that's ANYKENYRadioshow.threadless.com. Shout out to all my patrons and people who have ordered merchandise. Really appreciate your support. You can connect to me and follow me on social media at Coach_ANYKENY on Twitter, TikTok, Clubhouse, and Instagram. And on my Facebook music page, Any Key Music, which is spelled capital ANY, capital KE, lowercase b, lowercase n, and capital Y. So until next time, remember, be positive on purpose. Peace.